Tim from Tyrannosaurus Grace, and I'm going to walk you through our album, just kind of go song by song and tell you a little bit about each one. The first song on the record is called Sustenance from Stimulants, and it's one of my favorite songs. It might be my favorite T. Grace song. Primarily written by Justin Foss, although I will say one of my favorite guitar licks I've ever come up with is in that. But yeah, he did everything else, pretty much. Fucking text messages. Anyways, that song is about personal experience and also just kind of a phenomenon going on around college campuses nowadays with a new study drug, we'll call it. I don't want to name names, but a lot of people are using it and you get shit done on it. And I used it for studying and I also used it for recreation. But I am pleased to say that the last time that I used it was the night before I wrote the lyrics to that, and I won't do it again. If you listen to the lyrics closely, you'll see why. The second song on the album is called Chemistry, and I kind of recycled some lyrics from an old song that was called Chemistry, or Fallen from the Balance Beam, I don't really remember. And it's kind of a dialogue between male and female, and the chorus is from the female's perspective, and it kind of worked out serendipitously because I couldn't sing in the register that I wanted the chorus to be sung in, so we thought, well, let's just get a girl because it makes sense. So luckily Dave suggested that we get Lakin to come in and sing, and she was just going to do a guest track, but after she laid down those, me and Justin were both kind of like, yeah, let's just see if she wants to be in the band, and luckily for us, she said yes. So, yeah, another great song, another one that pretty much musically, the brainchild of Justin. The third song on the album is called Happy Birthday, I'm Still Sad, and it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written lyrically. It still makes me laugh, and it's not so much the words, not to sound pompous, but it's more of like the idea that I get in my head that inspired the words. It's completely sarcastic, so if anybody thinks that I had some weird thing with my dad, it's not true. We get along really well. But yeah, it's just kind of, it's that that I'm an indie rocker who suffers for my art, like I want to be so sad and make you like me because I'm sad type thing. I don't know, it's just, you see that a lot. Go to enough open mic nights at some coffee shops in the Midwest or any bigger city, you'll see that. And also that song is the only one that we didn't do anything in the barn at my parents' house for. That was all done in Michigan when I was there, aside from Justin put one like arpeggiated keyboard track in the background. Everything else was completely done on Sonar 3 on a PC, an old PC. So it was kind of cool. It has that lo-fi feel to it, which we really liked. We tried to record it again, but it just didn't have that feel to it. The fourth song on the album is called Saturday Morning Apology, and that is the closest. It's a close second to Sustenance for Stimulants for my favorite. Again, another Justin. Justin wrote that whole song until the end when we start rocking. Then me and him kind of collaborated on that. But other than that, everything else, again, him. Aside from the lyrics. But the lyrics were inspired by a night that me and him had. We had some of our classmates over that we graduated high school with, who all, believe in God or whatever, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but apparently when me and Justin are drunk, we have a bigger problem with it. So we were assholes and made dicks out of ourselves. So it was on a Friday night, so, it happens all too often. You get drunk, and next morning you're like, oh, who do I have to apologize to? Track 5 is called Had Me Some Ladies. Now this is one of the songs that I had written acoustic, and you can tell, it's just the E, A, B chords. Of course, Justin adds some tasty southern rock riffs over it. This song is the first installment of what I fondly call the trilogy. Just as a backstory, me and Justin were both probably going through like the heaviest, darkest times of our life, like simultaneously. I was in Michigan and he was in Portland. And because of this, we both just poured everything we had into Tyrannosaurus Grace. So to the assholes who made our lives hell for those few months, thanks. We got a hell of a record out of it. But this, yeah, had me some ladies. I heard a blues song and it was talking about his woman being mean to him, you know, or something like that. And I was like, well, what if I tried to write just like more of a modern, like, tongue-in-cheek kind of blues thing, you know, how would we say it today, you know, because, so, good goddamn was she mean, that fucking little bitch is too mean to me. It's more fun, and it felt good, too, because it's written about somebody who hurt me, so, word to the wise, if you're romantically involved with a songwriter, be careful. The second installment of the trilogy, Raccoon, one of the more obscure tracks on the CD, and we did that on purpose because we have a lot of pop, a lot of, you know, easily accessible songs, and we wanted to make some of them not so accessible, so almost to extend the shelf life of the album, we feel like if you do that, if you make some obscure songs, maybe those will be the gems later, you know, people will like the Saturday Mornings and the Chemistries at the beginning, but maybe Raccoon will be one of the songs that they, you know, 3 months down the road, they're like, okay, well now this is my favorite. Written about the same person that Had Me Some Ladies was written about. I think it's hilarious. I mean, it's if you pay attention to the lyrics, they're sad, but I'm trying to make light of it. Interesting thing about that song is I was trying to go to bed one night, and I couldn't, and I woke up at 4 in the morning and had this whole thing in my head, and I think by the third take I had completely written and recorded it, which for me is really, really odd because it usually takes me days to figure out what I want to say. And then the third installment of that song, track 7, which confuses me because it's track 7, but it's called 8-Bit Spite Song, is about the male counterpart into this horrible thing that made up the trilogy. And it's kind of me singing to him. And again, I think this one's really, really funny. It's one of those, if I got slapped in the face, I feel like I pushed this person down in the mud puddle after that. It's kind of like a revenge song. And maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know, but I felt good about it, and it still makes me laugh. There's a guest vocal on that by Glenn Willis in Kalamazoo. Me and him are in a project together, so his lyrics don't have anything to do with my thing, but he was also going through something, so lyrically they don't really match up, but it's a cool tune. Track 8, Biology Not Demons. I don't know what to say about that song. It's another one that's it's funny. I mean, obviously I don't go around trying to talk Catholic girls out of their virginity, but I just I use that as a vehicle to move my idea that people shouldn't feel ashamed about their sexuality and what they want to do about those feelings and who they want to do it with and when they want to do it, you know. Say go for it, just be safe. Track 9, It's Coming. That is another Justin weird electronic one. We were really getting into electronic stuff because we couldn't rehearse because he was in Portland and I was in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So we couldn't rehearse, so we just kept making stuff and sending it back and forth, and I just fell in love with this one. It's so great. It's probably the least favorite from the feedback so far that we've got from people that have heard it, but we both really like it. And it's post-apocalyptic, or kind of during the apocalypse. That's something that I'm just kind of obsessed with. You'll probably hear more post-apocalyptic songs from T. Grace. And then we have Nod, Smiles, and Waves. That's track 10. That one was that had to have been one of the first 3 Tyrannosaurus Grace songs ever, you know, to come into fruition. And when it happened, we were both, that was one of those songs that really made us want to push for this project. To, you know, it kind of lit the fire for us. We're like, okay, this is something we want to pursue. And now it's not one of my favorites. I still like it. It's a great live song. The lyrics there, I don't really know what they mean. I think they're kind of funny, but I think it's one of those things that I think people could take meaning from it if they want, or And then track 11, that is called A Song for Glennard. It refers to Glenn Willis, who sang on 8-Bit Spite Song. I helped him write a solo album. He was in a band called Their Teeth Will Be of Lions, and he wanted somebody to write kind of a folky music for his solo album. So me and him got together, and we wrote an album in a week, and we just hung out every day drinking wine. Unfortunately, I titled the song A Song for Glennard because originally the project was called Glennard, because it was just supposed to be his side project thing, you know, and it wasn't supposed to be a big deal, but then it ended up becoming more of a priority for him musically, so it became an actual band, and then Glennard and the Bastard Few became the name. So it would have sounded dumb to say A Song for Glennard and the Bastard Few. I thought A Song for Glennard sounded better, but it's not just for Glenn, it's also for Jason Walker, who played banjo, and Johnny Gigani, who played drums for the project. And there was a bunch of people who hung out all the time, but those guys were really, like I said, me and Justin both going through a dark time, and meeting up with those guys and starting to play music with them towards the end of my stint in Michigan was really good. So it's kind of an ode to them and to the time we had. It's kind of sentimental. A good way to close the album, though, after all of the, I don't know, whatever you want to call. If it's funny to you, I hope it is. I think it's funny, a lot of it. Yeah, enjoy the album.